Okay, I've chosen this next game because it shows very clear what the plans and ideas can be of the accelerated dragon defense in the Sicilian. The black player is Sergei Tiviakov, is one of the strongest players at the moment in Holland, and he's playing with black against the Vreugt with white. The Vreugt is rated 24.95 at the moment of the game, and Tiviakov was at that moment 25.65. So let's have a look at the game. White plays e4 and then get a Sicilian, and after g6 we get the accelerated dragon. White plays c4, the Maroczy bind, and then black chooses to play the so-called Gurjanitsa system, d6, and he takes here on d4 immediately. Now another option is to play bishop g7 first and this is a move order that is recommended by Steve Martin in his DVD Accelerated Dragon Assault. But this is not what happened in the game. In the game, Tiviakov took on d4 immediately before playing bishop to g7, and what followed was queen takes d4, bishop to g7, bishop e3, castles threatening to play knight to g4, attacking the queen and the bishop on e3. So the queen goes back to d2, placing the queen and the bishop in the same diagonal towards h6. Bishop goes to e6, and here we already start seeing that the game, the play of black will be concentrated on the queen side. This bishop is attacking c4, and later we will see that black will play a6 and try to play b5. But let's have a look. Queen to c1, queen a5, with the idea of bringing the f rook to c8. White plays f3, reinforcing the e4 pawn, and the rook goes to c8. b3, defending the c4 pawn, and then a6, preparing b5. The knight goes to a4, wanting to go to b6. That looks like a weak square of black, but black can respond this in a way that doesn't give him any disadvantage. Exchange of queens and then knight to d7, keeping an eye on b6, preventing the white knight to enter in b6, and preparing f5 also. So actually we can say that in this variation the moves b5 and the moves f5 are always very important. If you play black and you have the possibility of playing one of these two moves, you have to consider it seriously, because it's often the way of getting good counterplay for black. White played rook to c2, and then comes f5. He takes on f5, bishop takes f5, and the rook goes back to c1. Now black starts centralizing the king, king f7, and white plays h4. Rook a to b8, once more preparing b5, h5 played by black, and then b5. White takes on g6, check, bishop takes g6, and then he takes on b5. Black retakes, and the knight goes to c3. And now black plays rook to a8, and there is no way of defending the e2 pawn now, because black is threatening to take on c3 and after that taking on a2. So there would be this and then that. That's the threat. White played a4 now, and black took two times on c3 and then on a4. Bishop b5 played, the rook goes to c8, check, king b2, rook c2 check, king a3, and now maybe white had expected that black would play the knight from d7, for example, to f6, because this knight is attacked. But here comes a surprise. Black, Tiviakov, sacrifices the knight on d7. It takes on b3. A takes b3. White accepts the sacrifice. We can have a look at what would have happened if he wouldn't have accepted the sacrifice. Let's say he plays king takes b3. Then actually a check follows here, and the ending is a simply better ending for black. He has simply a pawn more, and his pieces are very active. So this is simply a superior ending for black. Now, white didn't want to get into a technical ending, so he took on d7, and what then followed was b2. White plays f4, wanting to play f5 to close this diagonal of the white bishop that is looking to the promotion square, b1. Black plays e6 to prevent that, and then white plays g4 once more, trying to play f5. And here black plays bishop to e4, attacking the rook. And we see now that there is actually no way already for white to prevent black from winning this game. What was played in the game was f5, and black took on h1, and after check here, king g6, and white had to resign, because it's impossible to stop the pawn from promoting here. And even if white tries to continue with his own pawn, let's say for example this, then follows a check here. This one falls, but this one also, and then there is again a one position for black. Now let's have a look. This is the position after bishop e4. f5 was played, but what if, for example, rook g1 to save the rook? Well, in that case there is rook g2, and after exchanging the rook on g1, black can promote. So in this position after bishop e4, there was no way of saving the game. This pawn on b2 has become too strong. So this is actually the game that I wanted to show. Let's have a quick review now. We get this accelerated dragon system, the Maroczy bind with c4, and then black tries to get counterplay by preparing a move like b5. Queens are exchanged, and here is also the move f5. So f5 and b5 play a strong role, and here comes b5, and then the nice threat with rook a8, threatening to win the pawn on a2. And another important moment was, of course, the moment when he sacrifices a piece here, and this b pawn is so strong that it cannot be stopped by white. White tries to block this diagonal, but after bishop e4 it's all over. Okay, that's the game. I hope you enjoyed it, and I see you next time. Thank you.